of God's gift that while we were still helpless, God gave us this baby to become a man, to die and to be raised again.
What I want to tell you is, in the midst of the storm, keep rowing, keep praising, keep on praying, keep on serving, keep on preaching. Whatever you are doing, just keep doing it, because if not, it's going to slow down your arrival.
When you hear this passage and you hear give thanks for all circumstances, what you hear is give thanks for the cancer, give thanks for the car accident, give thanks for the diagnosis, for the divorce, give thanks for the untimely death of a loved one. But the text does not say give thanks for all circumstances. The text says give thanks in all circumstances.
And he said, I knew it wouldn't work anyway. You may say some things with your mouth. You may say some things at the altar. But in your heart, you have not yet received the assurance that what God spoke to you. And here's what happens. God will download into our spirit what our mind wrestles away from our body.
It's been quite a roller coaster ride for Abraham, because Abraham can have a high one chapter and have a low the next chapter. Seems that every time that Abraham has an encounter with God, the enemy tries to take and undo everything that Abraham had seen or felt God do. Every time Abraham has a good day, the enemy gets inside Abraham's mind and poisons his mind and turns his good days into bad days. Is there anybody in here today already that has been there a time or two?
Jesus wrote himself out of the equation of the mission. Why do I say that? Because when Jesus got up from the grave, oh my God, he entrusted the mission to a group of followers who had already failed. A group of followers who he had vetted, and they still had let him down.
And tell you that the low side of life's paradox will not break you. It will not destroy you. It does not disqualify you. It will not, I swear, it will not, because God has a way of using low days and low experiences to flip the coin on you and propel you into something greater. That even on the low side of life, there is something on the inside of you that will kick in. There is instinct, there is greatness, there is grit, there is grind, there is the hope of generations now gone. It's there and it's in you, and you may not see it, but it's there.
Defiance is not just going to be at a low level, but it will be exploited before the Lord, right before your very eyes. Okay, don't not get this. I'm talking about, listen, you on the job. And Sally on the job, it's corporate stuff. Sally on the job, she's supposed to leave at 5, and she clocks out or leaves at 4:40 every day. You done seen her do it for the last 2 or 3 years. You mad, you feel some type of way inside, because you stay till 5 o'clock, and you trying to figure out how did she leave at 4:40, and you got to stay till 5 o'clock, and y'all get the same pay. I don't understand that. So you decide, you know what, I'm going to act in defiance, and I'm going to leave at 4:45, because Sally been leaving at 4:40 for 3 years. What ends up happening is they end up writing you up for leaving at 4:50, and now you mad because they wrote you up and they did nothing to Sally. But I'm trying to tell you, you need to guard yourself against defiance, because your defiance will be exploited if you allow it to affect your assignment.
I need somebody to know something this afternoon.
that even when you mess up, the plan that God has, the God that I serve, is bigger than my missteps, my mishaps, or my mistakes. God has another plan. Turn to your neighbor and tell him, God has another plan. See, the problem with us is we only got one plan. And when that plan is up, we don't know what to do. But the God I serve has many chapters to his plan.
There's some of us who are trying to seek peace, follow peace with all mankind. And no matter how peaceful we are, there's some people who still pick fights with us. And we have to ask God, why? We go through trouble and trial and tribulation, even though we're trying to live the best that we can. And we are forced to now ask God, why? Can I just be honest with you that I myself had this personal issue that over these 26 years of preaching, I have laid hands on people. I have spoken words of healing over people. I have given towels, and people have put towels that I prayed for on them in the hospital and came back to the church healed and whole. But when my wife got diagnosed with lupus, when my wife's lungs began to falter, when her kidneys failed, I laid hands on my wife and she's still sick. And I had to ask God, why?
See, when you know who you are and you know whose you are, it's easy for you to shut your mouth and just be quiet. Folks will recognize who you are without you having to state who you are. So many of us get caught up on what people believe about us and what people think about us that we feel the need to state who we are and who we are not. But when Pilate asked Jesus the question, "Are you King of the Jews?" Jesus doesn't go on the defense. He simply said, "You have said it." In other words, you know exactly who I am.
He never addressed God as Lord, as King of the universe, omnipotent ruler of the heaven. He now exemplifies my relationship with my daddy, so I can call him Father, amen? And so he says, "Father, forgive them, because they don't know what they're doing." And how many know that our prayer lives ought to be the same, amen? We ought to be so intimate with God where we don't have a problem calling him Father, amen? We ought to be able to know that when we call our daddy, he will answer. Do I have any prayers in the building? Every now and then, I don't have to say nothing to you because I know my daddy got